Hello there, this is JT and welcome to AIN, the Alternative Investor Network here on Thrive, and we're talking everything property investment. All right, the next property investment strategy we're looking at is developments. Yes, when you drive on the highway, you see all these developments at the side of the highway, and these are the type of developments that we are looking at. All right, what we also need to understand, that development could also be something as small as building 2 rooms at the back of your plot that you've got zoning for. So those are the things that we need to look at when it comes to developments. It could be very high ticket macro projects, or it could be micro developments. All right, but let's look at a bit of perspective. And we don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but sometimes we need to understand that time is of the essence. All right, so let's quickly look at a bit of perspective, a bit of a reality check, if you will. So if you are about 1 year old, you roughly have about 27,000 odd days left on planet Earth, assuming that you will live up till 70 years of age. All right, that is quite depressing, isn't it? But it is a reality check, and sometimes we need to know that time is of the essence. All right, should you turn a bit older and you are 36, then you only have roughly about 14,235 days left if you want to live until 70 years of age. How old are you? How much time do you have left? If you have 40, then about 12,700 odd days that you have left. By the time that you are 50 years old, you have less than 10,000 days left on Earth to do what you need to do in terms of property investment to reach your goals. So can you see that the time factor is really putting us in the corner here? So we need to act quite fast if you want to make sure that you capitalize on property investment. And the best thing is that with property, you can still make it. You have enough time to make things happen with property. All right. By the time you are 60, you have about 5,400 days left. That's scary, right? And by the time you are 70, you only have about 1,800 days left. What we need to understand is that, yes, you are the person that need to make it happen. Time is ticking by, and you are the person that is in control of your destiny. All right, so when we talk about property investment, remember, there are long-term deals or strategies, but also shorter strategies as well that can help you make a secondary income or some great profit from these projects. All right, let's talk developments. Okay, so when we talk about developments, it's really about high risk, high reward opportunities. I always tell people that when we talk about property development, it is a stressful space to be in. It's a total different story when it comes to due diligence. Your OTPs look radically different. All right. We are currently busy with multiple developments in terms of sites and feasibility studies and due diligence. Currently, one of our projects is a 417 unit development, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom at the back of Voda World in Midrand. And this is roughly about a 500 million rand development. Okay, so you cannot do this by yourself. It's impossible. Accessing the funding for it is a different story altogether. We're looking at international funding. We're looking at joint ventures with partners, with our power team, people that are collaborating in order to make this macro project a reality. And that's why it's so important for you when we talk about developments that you understand all the intricacies involved when it comes to developments. Remember, high risk, but also high reward. Okay, so let's quickly carry on. So when it comes to developments, it's really important, and we have spoken to some of our developer people in our network, and they have brought these 7 things to the surface in terms of advice when it comes to developments. Number 1, you start small and then you build from there. All right, begin something small and see how it goes. The management of it, the technicalities, the checklists. How are you dealing with issues as they arise? Are there some critical components that you need to deviate or change the scope with? That's why it's very important that you need to get to that first development, and then once you've done that, got that under the belt, you can move on to a bigger development. All right. Focus on the development of one project and one project alone. That's what we want to advise you on as a new property investor. Also, start with development to sell strategy to build capital and experience. All right, so making sure that when you do start the development, you need to do a bit of reverse engineering. All right, start with selling. You know that when you have these billboards where they sell off plan, this is where you want to start, and you need to get to a point where you get some income. People need to start paying for that property as well. That could also be a great way to look at that. But you need to start marketing that property as soon as possible, even though the development might only sort of be at completion in about 24 to 36 months. All right. Always partner with reputable team. All right, developers, construction, civil engineers, architects. Make sure that you learn from them, but also that they are reputable, that they've got credentials, and that they are credible. That we cannot stress this enough. Making sure that you leverage the collateral and the track record of your team is vital in order for you to make it a success, but also making sure that you sign the right type of contracts and agreements with your team members. All right, you do not want to get into a point where you have a misstep because the agreement wasn't honored. All right, we had one project where the construction person gave us a feasibility study and he had to revise it, and that meant that we were making less profit per sale of a unit, and that was really a bad curveball for us. So we had to find ways to get the cost down, but also making sure that we still make a profit and keep everybody in the team happy. All right, and also work with the city, work with them, not against them. If they deny your zoning application, you can try, but it's going to cost you time and money. But also look for another space in another place where you can actually find space to do the same development with, that is zoned or geared to be zoned for the right type of residential zoning. All right. Then what we want to urge you to do is to look at your power team. Very important. When it comes to your power team, they are the people that's going to make or break this development project for you. All right. You need to have a coach that understands developments specifically, that can hold your hand and talk you through all the obstacles should they arise. The property network, people in the broader network where you can market your developments to, making sure that you speak to a sourcing agent that will also find you the right land for this development. Once again, through the property masterminds at the property activator program, you will have access to people and their input, their professional input in terms of your development. Property accountant is vital. It's a different accountant. They need to know how to run the numbers in terms of money that comes in and also the money that is spent, and giving reports back to financiers. All right. Structure and specialists in tax, very important. You need to understand what are the tax implications of this specific property investment journey for you. Rental insurance, when you do have these developments, are we holding them and renting them out, or are we selling them? All right. If you're renting them, please consider something like someone that specializes in rental insurance. Private finance investors, they are the people that also sometimes journey with you in a joint venture. Conveyancers, they can give you a discount, making sure that you save money there. Eviction attorneys, very important as well, because they are the people that will help you in terms of getting your cash flow consistent every month. Someone isn't paying, we need to get rid of that tenant. Property inspectors, architects, town planners. All right, so you see where we are going with this. Your power team is the team that's going to make you succeed in terms of property development. We will give you access to all these people when you are part of our property activator program, and you will be able to journey with the professionals, the experts in their fields in terms of property investment, specifically also with developments. All right, so let's quickly look at what do we need to take note of. All right, as I said, the power team is really vital. You cannot do it alone. You need someone to guide you. You need a coach, but also you need to know how to budget, because with developments, the budget can go haywire in an instant. And that's why it's very important for you to understand where your power lie in terms of finances. If you're not strong financially in terms of running the numbers, get yourself someone that'll be able to assist you with that. All right, good. So when we look at the 7 steps of development, we need to understand also that it's not something that happens in 2 weeks' time. It will take you sometimes months or sometimes years in order to get you ready for this specific project. Okay, So we need to look at something like deal evaluation. Is this going to be a good deal in terms of this development? All right. Commercial agreements. Are we sign? What type of agreements are we going to sign with our team members, with our service providers? Who's going to draw up those agreements? Do you have someone legal that you can access? Who are you going to ask? All right. Due diligence, making sure that you run the numbers once again. Do your homework. Will this make a profit? Okay. Then we're looking at things like approvals. You need to have zoning and planning approvals from the city council. All right. How are you going to market and pre-sale these developments off plan? All right. Finance. Who's going to finance this whole project for you? And also, how are you going to give feedback to them? What's the reporting requirements from your financiers? All right. And then once you have all these steps done, you can actually start putting the shovel into the gravel. All right. And then you get to proceed with development. All right. And now I want you to just answer me this. Imagine you buy a piece of land, 4,000 square meters, you want to develop 8 units. And this happens. Do you know what a servitude is? A servitude is a piece of land or a area that do not belong to you. All right, even though you own the land, it doesn't belong to you. It could be like a water pipeline, it could be like a storm drainage, it could be a manhole for that matter, or a fire hydrant. All right, but those are the things like servitudes that belongs to the city council. So we had one person in our network that bought this stand and she wanted to do 8 units, and unfortunately there was a water pipeline that ran all the way from the one corner of the earth to the other one. All right, she couldn't do 8 units. All right, so that is really important when we talk about developments, or even if you want to build a house, whatever, you need to make sure that you read the title deed. It's very important. Okay, make sure that there are no servitudes. Specifically, if you want to develop, make sure that you read the title deed for that piece of land, what you can and what you cannot do on that piece of land. All right. But very important, what you need to keep in mind with developments is that zoning is key. All right. Zoning will take you something from 18 to 24 months, and it's really expensive. We're looking at about 120K upwards. And also there's time is a big factor because it takes time. Servitudes, I've spoken about. The OTP, the offer to purchase, how is it structured? Remember, you need to have 2 exit clauses. If you don't have 2 exit clauses, you are going to be in trouble. So make sure that when you talk to legal, that they help you with exit clauses or suspensive conditions. All right. You need to have a great powerful power team to help you succeed with that development. And also, we need to be realistic. This is not for everyone. You cannot do it alone, and you're going to need someone to help you with or journey with you, specifically when it comes to developments. All right. And also, how much time do you have? Will you be able to sustain these operations for about 36 months? Is that something that you can do? If not, then this is probably not the right strategy for you. But if you join our Activator program, we'll be able to set you up for success. All right. It's going to take some courage and it's going to take some bravery, but I am definitely sure that you'll be able to be successful specifically in development if that is something that you are really passionate about. All right, so stay tuned and log in again for our next property investment strategy as we take things a bit further.